Hi, I'm Jennifer Jelliff Russell of the Go Find Out podcast. If you're like me, you set New Year's resolutions that you're super excited about and then they just kind of fizzle out by around February. So today I wanted to talk about 3 ways that you can actually make sure your New Year's resolutions stick this year, right? It's 2021. We got to do this thing right this time. So the very first thing that you can do to make sure your New Year's resolution actually sticks is first to make it realistic, right? That's the first thing, making your New Year's resolution realistic. What I mean by that is you want to pick something, a goal or a resolution that you can actually achieve, right? And I'm not here to rain on anybody's parade. I'm not here to tell you you can't do something. But if you're kind of like, hey, I want to run a marathon by February and you've never run ever, I'm not going to say you can't do that, but it's not super realistic if you're not athletic at all, right? And I'll use myself as an example of that. I set the realistic goal to run a marathon over the course of over a year, right? And so that gave me lots of time to actually make a training plan and follow that training plan in order to actually meet that goal. But had I said, on January 1st that I was going to run a marathon in February, that's probably not going to happen. I would become overwhelmed and I would just stop any kind of training, honestly, because I know that I wouldn't be able to do it. Right? So make sure that your goal is realistic for your abilities and for what you're actually able to achieve within a specific timeline, right? So number 1, realistic. Number 2, you really want to make sure that your goal is specific. So if you were like, I want to start running, right? And that was it, and you didn't have any specific kind of goal, right? To say, I want to start running twice a week, or I want to run a marathon, right? At the end of the year. Those are very specific things. Those are very concrete. And so you want to have specific goals for your resolution that you can actually set milestones to achieve, right? Another good example is saying, I want to be healthy. That's not really very specific. What do you mean by you want to be healthy? Does it mean you're going to eat healthy? Does it mean you're going to work out? What do you mean by eating healthy? Does that mean, eating more vegetables? Does that mean stop eating meat? I like meat, not going to stop eating that. So what does it actually mean to you? So break it down more specifically, right? So maybe instead of just saying, I want to get healthy, you say, I'm going to get healthy by adding more salads, 3 times a week to my meals, or making sure that I get a serving of fruit and vegetables for 2 meals a day, right? So that's a lot more specific. The third thing that you'll want to do to make sure that your goal is attainable and will actually stick is to make it actionable, right? And what I mean by actionable is you need to be able to take steps towards that goal, right? A goal that's not really actionable is, let's say, I want to win the lottery, right? Yes, you can take the action to buy a lottery ticket, but that's kind of it, right? You can't really do much more towards that goal than going out and buying many lottery tickets, and then you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs, and there's nothing that you can actually do to further or take further steps towards that goal, right? So you want to make sure that that goal is actionable. And I'll go back to that example of running. So if you want to run a marathon, then those actionable steps would be, setting up a training plan and then actually running and following that training plan and running each day that it says to run on your training plan, right? And then you might also set some milestones along the way and maybe say, in a couple of months you'll run a 5K and then a 10K and then a half marathon and finally the marathon at the end of the year, right? So those are very actionable steps. And again, it sets those milestones that you can actually achieve along the way rather than just hoping that you'll follow the training plan. You'll have those sort of things that you can achieve that make you feel good throughout the year so that you'll stick with that goal. So definitely make your plan or resolution actionable. So 3 things, right? Realistic, specific, and actionable. And if you do those things and set your resolution to be those 3 things, then you'll be a lot more likely to actually achieve your goals this year. All right. If this was helpful to you, you can definitely hit that subscribe button. And if you would like to hear more audio that is a little bit more edited than this, definitely check out the Go Find Out podcast, where I interview lots of really inspiring women from all different fields. And I ask them, how they got to where they are, how they dealt with any naysayers, how they kicked their fears to the curb and actually achieved their goals. So go check it out at gofindoutpodcast.com, or you can check out the link in the show notes below. All right, go find out.